want to talk about emergent viruses, and it's not much that could be of a lot of use. It's just some observations. I was watching Kaiser report. Uh, Stacy was talking about Jamie Dimon, and that he had a dream that he had gone into Davis, and somebody in Davis had coronavirus and had infected all the as the super rich and the head of corporations. It could happen, we'll be rid of the 1%. But I think that the world hates the rich a lot more than they hate the coronavirus. I don't know. And also in the second segment in Kaiser report, they were talking to somebody. He was saying that the fiat currency system has annexed the ability uh, for many people to generate wealth, from their work, or from their artistic abilities, or from anything, industry that they developed. It's just that the government or the corporations, they just print more money and allocate it to themselves and their friends. I guess this is the root cause uh, for a lot of unhappiness in European countries, France, and well, uh, there is an analogy to French Revolution or Iranian Revolution also had such an element where the Shah and the Darbar, which means the court, they were annexing all the industries, and the only remaining industries were the bazaar merchants, which were old merchants, and the bazaar merchants financed the Iranian Revolution and killed off the Darbar. Many of Shah's cohorts and friends, they got killed, and many properties also got confiscated. So I think we are at that stage with financial pandemics. Well, the other thing I saw was very interesting was that uh, the the stock market bubble or the bond market bubble has ruptured, and there's huge collapses in stock prices, and payout on the 10-year has plummeted. I don't know what foreigner or what wealthy Japanese or Chinese is gonna buy the U.S. Treasuries if the yield is so low and there's all these problems. Uh, Maybe one of the underlying pillars of U.S. dollar is all these stupid foreigners just automatically come in and buy more treasuries and more U.S. dollars. I mean, these guys, they should have been dead long time ago, but the Americans, they keep going and going. It's like those batteries. What was it? The battery advertisement. It just keep going and making more mess in the world. Start new wars. More people get killed. The U.S. empire and their financial system is like a cancer. But well, the only thing that is, there is a hope, or hope that at least the coronavirus kills them off. But that hope is not a very good hope, because in reality, coronavirus is a respiratory disease, a respiratory virus. It has many similarities to other kinds of viruses like flu or influenza, and what works with the other pandemics, it also works on coronavirus, and also it it's not as serious as people imagine it to be, because it only kills the people who are older, have already chronic diseases like me. But what little that we can do is comes here is to study the viruses in the past, or the emergent viruses, and see how they got started out, and how to prevent that. I've been reading about this subject for many years. I used to listen to talks in the temple with the AIDS virus, and at the time there was no cure, or no pills you could take, no antiviral. And the way AIDS virus started, which is different than coronavirus or respiratory viruses, is that it existed for a very long time, in eons, in monkeys or simians, and the Africans, in some places, they have a ritual or ways of trapping or scaring these animals into an area and killing them off, and then selling them in the markets, eating their food, eating their meat. So this virus uh, was already in monkeys, and many monkeys, they wouldn't have symptoms of simian AIDS, because their body had evolved to deal with this virus. But when the virus jumped from monkeys into humans, then it evolved. It became the human version of the AIDS virus, and then even then, many people that had very good immune system, they uh, they they didn't show symptoms of AIDS virus. But it didn't stop there. Well, the Africans, the male Africans, some are homosexuals, and they had intercourse with the European tourists that were also gays. And when such people that have intercourse, it kind of the virus is difficult to transmit from person to person, but when they stick their dicks inside each other, it tears up the walls of their buttholes, and then there was blood, some blood and feces that were exchanged between these two gay adults, and then the virus got another foothold and came into the white population. So then was the third leg of the pandemic, or it was that the gay men are not like heterosexuals. For example, heterosexuals, the sexual relations, actually intercourse, it doesn't happen quickly. Like, a guy and a girl, like I'm interested in a girl, she's interested in me. It goes through like it takes time, 6 months or a year, for a guy and a girl to become comfortable with each other. It doesn't happen very quickly, and it becomes initially like friendship, and then becomes more involved, and then the sex happens later. Sometimes it doesn't happen at least a year before something else happens. I mean, with my wife, I knew her for like at least 6 months, 3 4 months before she came over. So it does didn't the virus couldn't propagate easily in the heterosexual population, and it also needed the blood to go from one person to another, and the semen is also another method by which it could travel, and did to some extent go into the heterosexual population. But gays, they have intercourse very frequently. For example, gay men in bars, they sleep with each other, have sex many times with many partners. So this is the pattern, the virus, or the track the virus followed or got foothold. And then for many years there was no drugs that they could use to deal with it. Then they discovered AZT antiviral medication, but in little shops and in little workshops in San Francisco, researchers will keep trying different antiviral medications, and finally, I think it was some kind of Japanese guy. I'm not sure. This is really all the stuff I've read. He came out with a cocktail of antiviral medication, and this cocktail was very effective against the AIDS virus because when you take AZT, the virus changes, a strain of virus survives and changes or mutates genetically to adapt to AZT. But then when there is another antiviral drug, then the virus had to mutate again and it damages its mode of reproduction. The genes get damaged. Well, in the viruses, the genes are not encoded in RNA. They are not encoded in DNA. They are encoded in RNA, less secure encryption or writing of the gene code. So this is how AIDS virus would get damaged and it will not be able to reproduce, or the genetic code got messed up, and then there wouldn't be a next generation. Well, this route that we came with the AIDS virus, then this is a route that other emergent viruses are going to follow. They're going to start like with something from a reservoir, a virus reservoir that somebody was stupid enough to eat, or was desperate enough to eat. For example, eating bat meat. Well, the bats are reservoir for many emergent viruses. When they butchered the bats and ate it, then this virus, which is like a flu-like virus, came in that route, and then because it's like flu-like and it goes around from host to host by contact or through the air, it was very difficult to contain it, or they made a lot of effort to contain it. Well, we can go this route with other flu-like viruses. Just a regular flu, every year a different strain of a flu comes around, and many people get infected. It's difficult to stop progression of these viruses. But what helps the people is that many people, after a certain period, like two weeks or a month, they develop antibodies. Their body starts to cope with this virus, even though it's a new strain and it's troublesome. Or they get over it. But doesn't mean that the symptoms are not going to be there. Your nose is going to be running, and you're going to be have flu or whatever symptom that is associated with that strain of viruses. But uh, the trying to stop it from spreading by contact is possible, but the measures could also fail. Well, uh, we saw the Iranian health minister. He had the coronavirus and he spread it to all the MPs. A lot of MPs in Iranian Majlis or Parliament, they have come down with the coronavirus. But the interesting thing is that only like a certain segment of the population gets really sick with it. But what works with other flu-like respiratory diseases can also work with coronavirus. The people who have very good health, very good nutrition, they have, they have their immune system is really boosted. Okay, and I'll tell you a few methods to do that. They survive and they get over the flu, but the other people who are older or have chronic diseases, well, they could die because the disease overwhelms them. The virus or viral infection is too much for the body to counter. Well, uh, there are some old remedies. I know this is not much. Well, I call this video my 2 cents worth. It might just be that 2 cents. Uh, but before I go through these simple remedies, uh, I heard that the Iranian IRGC, which is like our Marines, have gotten into the business of making a vaccine uh, for coronavirus. They claim they have a vaccine and they're waiting for some Iranian ministry to okay the vaccine so they can bring it to the market. Well, when people are desperate, there's a lot of effort to develop new technologies. Well, Iran had been desperate after the revolution, and they have developed so many weapons, unbelievable. They have developed drones. They're replicating many U.S. drones, very advanced drones, all kinds of weapons, all kinds of hand weapons, all kinds of anti-tank, all kinds of ships. I saw that they have developed a kind of boat that kind of flies off the surface when it wants to go real fast. It's really like an airplane that flies low, and then I saw that they had made so many of them with the machine gun or I don't know rocket launcher on top of them. Unbelievable. I think that some nations they will react very violently, like Iran has made 300,000 centers to screen, and just the Iranians they got into that mode after the assassination of Soleimani. That they're just extremely defensive because they have been attacked many ways, economically, militarily, even diplomatically. There's like strong reaction even to some virus, but well, it could be a good thing because then it could be the beginning of new drugs or new technologies to deal with anything. Well, I was watching some of the Iranian programs, and there's a lot of leakage or news leakage coming out that Iran has gotten hold of UFO technologies like anti-gravity, or they don't call it anti-gravity there, they call it plasma technology. I don't know if it's the same thing or not, but when people get desperate, oh my God, there was another program was saying that Iran really doesn't need drugs from foreign countries because they make 97% of all the drugs that they need, and they even sell it to other Middle Eastern countries. I don't think it will be long before there is an Iranian version of corona vaccine. But with cold, one antiviral medication is not a medication; is a really herb. It's just the same thing as raw garlic. So what the emphasis on the word raw. If you cut a raw garlic in half, not a whole lot, and put it in your mouth and chew it slowly, there is an interaction between your saliva and the garlic. And these new chemicals, they seep in, and because the respiratory system is tied to the mouth, there is it's just we are using the same pipe for food, for whatever, and these uh, these chemicals, these proteins that are very antiviral, they seeping into your head, many cavities, into your lungs, and they 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 kill off a percentage of the viral infections. Not all of them, but then with cold, you have to take vitamin C. Vitamin C is used in many chemical pathways in the body, and it helps the body fight off infections because it's like a mechanic that wants to fix a car, and the mechanic doesn't have some hand tools, but if he has a lot of the tools and in many quantities and in sophistication, then yeah, any problem can be tackled. Uh, there are some mushrooms like lion's mane or cordyceps or chaga mushrooms, but most people they don't know about those mushrooms. You kind of have to get into the culture of herbalists to know about these other remedies. Then you just have to boost your immune system. Also, many older people they have very lousy nutrition. I was coming down on Walmart. I was looking at the lady that was in front of me. She was so obese, and she was buying all this stuff, and they were all hydrocarbons. No, they were all like sugary stuff. Like she was buying all these cakes, all this bread, all these all these pastries. Then she was buying fruit juice, everything that's like carbohydrates, and the many older people they get cancer because the body is not getting all these elements, all these food groups, is not getting proteins that it needs. Well, I was making a smoothie yesterday. In my smoothie, I put several vegetables, um, spinach, and what was it? The other one. There's like three, four vegetables, cilantro, a little bit of it, and then I put in fruits like banana and apple and a couple of oranges, and then when I made this smoothie, it had a lot of really nice ingredients, a lot of food groups, a lot of proteins, a lot of herbs to begin with. Then the next stage is on a cup. I have boxes of herbs. Uh, I have four main boxes. In one box is like 20 herbs that all help internal organs, like ashwagandha, like geogalin, what was it, ginseng, um, chaga mushroom, and I put a pinch of each, 20 different herbs, and then the other box is like another 20, 30 herbs that all enhance memory, mental functions, stuff that I would call this other box the limitless box, because really it is the limitless pill in a disguised form. And the third box is about 20 herbs that enhance sexual functions, every aspect of it that you can imagine. But I don't, with one smoothie, I don't go after all three boxes. I just do one. Well, today I'm gonna be doing the box that has the herbs for sex enhancement and also the internal organs. Today I'm getting a lot, but my smoothies got all these extremely nutritious and herbs that totally enhances everything in the body. Uh, this is not the kind of food that like that lady was getting. It showed she was sick to begin with. I mean, if she catches the coronavirus, she's a lot more likely to die from it than somebody like me, that totally into biohacking and takes care of stuff. But I do have diabetes. I do have coronavirus. I am older, so yeah, I'm as susceptible as she might be. But I think that she's more susceptible than me. Uh, Many foods here that are easy to eat or buy, they are not good for you. Well, after I had my smoothie, I think that this is where I get most of my nutrition on a daily basis. The body actually gets fed. Well, then, I'm used to eating all this junk. And I went out. I had a couple of chicken burritos too. When I eat the chicken burritos, it tricks the body that hey, everything's fine. You just got fed. But those stuff that I bought from the store, they don't have nutritional values as much as the smoothie. But I kind of do it because I don't want to become extremist, going one way and then the other way. I want the body to get all the nutritions and then also trick it to just calm down and not to be looking for any more food. Kind of strange, but well, the last thing that somebody could do with the coronavirus, and there isn't a vaccine right now, is to ask the doctor to prescribe to you two, three different antiviral drugs, like the drugs that were effective against AIDS. Ask them. I'm not into that area. I'm not a doctor. You have to go ask the doctor, give me at least two antiviral medications and boost your immune any way you can. Well, thank you very much for being in my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and don't be shy to leave your comments.